It has been exactly 2 weeks since the coup was announced in Niger. The West-backed President Mohamed Bazoum has been thrown out and military leaders are currently controlling the country. The situation could mark a new phase in Africa, and the thought of this has divided the ECOWAS group. It is a bloc of 15 members of West African states. They tried giving an ultimatum, even threatened with military action, but the coup leaders have stayed put. So ECOWAS will now hold a summit on Thursday pushing for a diplomatic solution. Since the coup, Niger has been slapped with some of the most stringent sanctions, and it affects much more to a country like Niger. According to 2023 budget projections, the country had expected to have a budget of $5.53 billion for the fiscal year, and 40% of this budget was expected to come from external partners, which looks extremely dicey now. But Niger has an ace up its sleeves. This yellow cake is known as uranium. It is an ore vital for nuclear industry, and Niger is the world's 7th biggest producer of this chemical element. If ECOWAS wants to fire the big guns, then uranium is what it will target. And if it does, it's not just Niger's future that will be plunged into uncertainty. It will also hit Western countries. Niger is the second largest exporter of uranium to France. It is also a major exporter to Canada. The decision will make Europe look at world's biggest exporter of the ore. And fate, or as fate would have it, it is no other than Russia, a country that has waged a war in Europe and is already in the West's bad books. Speaking of Russia, it is a country you will hear more and more when it comes to Niger. Russia is watching the developments very closely. The Kremlin is trying to up its influence in the region. Look at this. These visuals are coming straight from Niger's capital Niamey. White, blue and red fabrics are selling like hotcake. And before you get confused, it's not the French flag, but the Russian flag. The flags have been in demand since the coup was announced. This is testament that there is intention from Russia and there is acceptance from Niger. The coup has exposed Moscow's grand strategy in Africa. The two sides have been regularly sitting on summit tables. Wagner is expanding its footprint in the region, and Vladimir Putin is ready to point back at the West. So it seems Russia fits the perfect jigsaw puzzle in Niger's crises. And for more on this, our correspondent Nabil Ahmed has sent us this report from Accra, Ghana.
The sanctions will really bite the economy of Niger and further put millions of people into poverty. But it appears the junta leader is not really backing down. He's still holding on to power and has already missed the deadline set by ECOWAS to release the ousted President Mohamed Bazoum and reinstate him or restore the country to civilian order. ECOWAS, that's the regional bloc, is expected to hold an emergency meeting on Thursday to really discuss the way forward. And already we know that they've imposed economic sanctions on Niger, and what's is going to follow next, that is quite unsure. We are quite unsure about that. But we know that they actually sent a delegation to Niamey, the capital, to meet with the junta leader and other military people that did the coup to see how best some negotiations can go on. But the junta leader refused to meet these ECOWAS delegation. So that's quite a tricky situation at the moment to see how this whole situation will be resolved. The question still looms whether ECOWAS or the regional bloc would go ahead with the military intervention. And that could be really catastrophic for the West African countries should the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, goes ahead to use military force to compel the junta leader to restore constitutional order.
And saying on Niger, we earlier spoke to David Otto from Abuja, Nigeria, and this is what he had to say.
They've also appointed governors. They've done that by appointing key security agencies, generals of the military and some from the police, and all other security agencies have been given positions. The message from the junta is very clear. They are moving on. They've been able to seize power from President Bazoum. They are blaming it on the decadence of the economy, the country, the corruption, the insecurity. But more so, they are blaming it on, the French, colonization or neocolonialism, which they say, has, not given the country an ability to breathe. So the military junta on its path, seems to be forging ahead, while, the president is in a condition that no one can ascertain. And this is one of the reasons, why regional bodies like ECOWAS and the international community is calling for at least the release of the president and his family. But for the military junta, they are moving ahead in defiance of any ECOWAS threats, that we've seen in place.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.